The United States and China just concluded 2 days of trade talks in London. Talks hailed as a success, but intriguingly, neither side gave much away about what was actually agreed, and there's a very specific reason for that. President Trump just got a serious wake-up call. Let me explain. Back on April the 2nd, Trump launched a sweeping raft of tariffs on countries around the globe. The messaging from his administration was crystal clear. The US was strong, the world needed access to the lucrative US market and the American consumer, and the pain they could inflict would force others to the negotiating table. It wasn't about mutual benefit, it was extortion. That classic Trump mantra, he who has the gold makes all the rules. Countries like China were expected to fold, but instead China hit back hard. China matched US tariffs tit for tat. American exports to China slumped, but overall China's exports rose 6% thanks to rising demand in Europe and Southeast Asia. And while the Trump team expected a collapse in yuan, China's currency actually strengthened. China had a card in its pack that America was really vulnerable to. They just didn't know it yet. Now, as you probably know, that card was the rare earths card, especially rare earth magnets, particularly samarium, essential for US defense manufacturing like fighter jets and missiles. China is the world's only producer of this specific rare earth used in high temperature resistant magnets, which are needed for a great many of the high-tech products produced by the United States, and not just cars and laptops, even Elon Musk's Optimus robots. China produces the entire world supply of samarium that is required, that the United States absolutely needs in order to build fighter jets, missiles, and other military hardware. This is because samarium produces heat-resistant magnets that keep their magnetic properties even when exposed to temperatures that would be hot enough to melt lead, which standard rare earth magnets do not. On April the 4th, in response to Trump's tariffs, China quietly cut off exports of the 7 rare earth materials, including samarium. At first, Trump's administration didn't grasp the full implications of the tariff war, but pressure mounted as retailers like Walmart and Costco warned of rising prices and empty shelves. Then the R&D and defense departments no doubt started informing the Trump administration that they will need to halt making essential defense equipment within a few weeks. Eventually, this brought the US back to the negotiating table, and they sat down with China in Geneva, agreeing to roll back some tariffs, the assumption in Washington that rare earth exports would fully resume. But they didn't. China taught Trump the art of the deal with this gentle reminder of who holds the trump card. China implemented new licensing rules and samarium stayed restricted. Trump lashed out again, targeting Chinese students, doubling down on restrictions. Then Trump waited and waited for some sort of negotiation to start. China held firm. Only after a phone call between Trump and President Xi Jinping at Trump's request was this London meeting held. A deal was clearly struck. Rare earths resumed flowing, including magnets critical for US industries, but the details remained secret. The Chinese gave a vague statement about principled agreement addressing each other's trade concerns. Translation: have some shame and stick to your word. Stop wasting everyone's time. You need what we have. Now let's talk like equals. The US has long tried to cripple China's tech rise, especially with the semiconductor restrictions, but now it seems likely that in exchange for rare earths, China secured concessions on US chip export controls. Trump tried to save face, tweeting in all caps that full magnets and rare earths will be supplied by China, and then vaguely added, "We will provide to China what was agreed to." Notice no details, very un-Trumpian. Also, he mentioned Chinese students. suggesting that might have been part of the trade-off. But most tellingly, Kevin Hassett, director of the White House Economic Council, had already hinted before the talks that chip export controls might be lifted as part of the deal. Now, that's a major reversal from the policy started under Biden, which Trump had continued. Let's be clear, Trump's trade war gave China the perfect excuse to use the one weapon America had overlooked, its monopoly on rare earths. This wasn't Trump's art of the deal, it was a lesson in strategic miscalculation and lack of preparation by a bunch of overconfident and frankly arrogantly drunk on their own power Americans. Trump walked into the trade war thinking he held all the cards, only to find out China was holding a royal flush. And while both sides are now eager to bury the details, one thing's for sure, in London it was China that walked in strong and walked out stronger. If you want more breakdowns like this, from global trade to power politics to economic games shaping our future, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a beat. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.